Welcome back to Online Darts, everyone. Finally, we get a face-to-face interview. We're not over Zoom. We're joined by a man of the moment, Danny Baggish. Danny, congratulations. As it's sunk in, you've had 24 hours or so to process it all. How are you feeling now?
Yeah, I think it kind of sunk in last night. I was just over the moon, excited, didn't know what to think. So many emotions, such a roller coaster. And yeah, I'm on the professional tour.
I want to take you back to that final day. What was your mindset going into it? No points on the board. It was all or nothing going into it as you thought. How did you approach that day?
Yeah, I thought I had to win it. I just felt like, just every match put everything into it, every single leg. No matter what, just keep your mind in it and just be mentally strong. Got a little bit of advice the night before with my doubles from Wayne, and kind of worked out.
What did Wayne say to you?
If I tell you that means everyone watching, they might get tipped off, and then everyone's game might go up. I'll save that one for you, Wayne.
Going through the day, when did you start believing it was on? Because obviously at the start of the day you're thinking, right, okay, I know I've got to do it, I've got the ability to do it, but it's a long way to go. When did it start to dawn on you? Hang on a minute, I'm right in this.
Yeah, I'm a realist, so anyone can say walking in, I just feel like I can win. Well, obviously, but I've had a pretty crap previous 2-3 days and a couple bad results, and so once I got going after probably the second match, I believe it was against Collins. I started to feel really good.
Quarterfinals, 116. Is that your favourite number now?
116. That was the semis, yeah.
Sorry, yeah. 116.
Well, it wasn't. My favorite number was 132. The quarterfinals against McGurk.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just felt the rhythm was there, and 116 has to be my favorite now, yeah.
And the 125, because there was a lot of chat on social media because we can only see Darts Connect.
Yeah. And
we were like, oh, has he gone ball 25 ball? Because it was a showpiece finish, and you confirmed afterwards it was that route.
Yeah, in that situation with other player on out, you just have to go bull first. Yeah. If you hit it, then you gotta take the shot at it. If not, you go to 25, 60, 40 route. But they all felt good. Took a deep breath before that third dart and kind of just banged it. The dart was sitting perfectly, so I kind of used it just to throw it in there.
Get over the line in the semi-final, and you've probably got 5 minutes to recompose yourself for the final. In that short time, what are you saying to yourself, and what are you thinking?
I feel like I put a little more pressure on myself all day. The plan was to get to the final and then put it all in. Yeah. And I did that, but now something just hit me to where I got nervous and my heart's beating fast again, kind of like being on the Alley Pally stage and so forth. But yeah, about 5 minutes, and I just knew I had to win it.
What was your thought? And first of all, obviously, you didn't know you only needed a leg, did you?
No.
Was there a murmur in the room or anything like that when you won that leg? Because I'm guessing other people within the arena would have known that. Was there a ripple or a murmur go around when you won that first leg?
So there wasn't. And there was probably, the managers watching and a couple of officials watching and so forth. So, no, they actually stood and watched the whole match. So there was no tip, nothing like that. And so when I lost 6-2, I kind of felt like I bottled it and let myself down.
How long from that moment to the moment of elation then when you realised that you had it?
Well, after I shake Scott's hand and kind of gave him a little hug, and then the scorekeeper's hand as well, and grab my stuff, and I look up and I see Dan Dawson standing there, and he's kind of smiling. And I'm thinking, I just lost. What are you smiling at me for, But I felt like that was the first tip that I got through.
And then the moment hits. You are a PDC Tour card holder. All the hard work pays off. What was that moment, that feeling like inside when you realised that you had that 2-year ticket?
It's the World Championships is something I wanted to dream of. I achieved it. I wanted to play on the World Cup team, play on the PDC Tour. And the moment they told me, it was a dream come true again, you know what I mean? And you guys know how emotional I get and so forth. That's because I care about the game. I care about my results. I care about what people think. I'm just mentally strong. I can deal with all of it. And yeah, it was just relief, and I was just so excited to get back to everyone that wrote me, because everyone over here and back in the States were just so great with messages. Not one negative person, which was very surprising. So
I'd say you're very good on social media, very busy on social media. You must have had a lot of messages to reply to.
yeah, probably between Twitter and Messenger, it was probably about 1,300. So yeah, but to me, I love it, and I'll make sure, whether it's not in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, I'll make sure that I give some kind of emotion back to them, a reaction, or just a simple thank you, because without them, where would darts be? We need the fans. We need everyone.
I'll take you all the way back now from the World Championships. You obviously went home, and then the devastating news that you got COVID. What was that like? And obviously for you, the virus affects people in different ways. And when that result come back that you had it, did you fear your dream was over for another year because you had to miss Q-School the year before? And did you think, not again?
Yeah, you hit that right on the nose. I switched to my new darts the minute I came back, and I was throwing really well with them. I had to play the CDC. I had to finish that tour off, a couple 94, 92 hours, and I played Gary Moss in my last match. With my new darts, I went 8-1 with a 107 almost, and I was buzzing. I just felt so good, and then I got sick that Thursday, and just something I've never felt before, and I couldn't move, bones were hurting, and so I knew I had COVID. I went and got tested. It came back positive, and it just hurt me bad. And there's a couple times I wanted to go to the hospital, but it wasn't to where I couldn't breathe or anything like that. So once that was over with, I only had a week and a half to prepare, and I couldn't stand up. I'd throw 1 or 2 games, I'd be out of breath, and I'd have to sit down. Yeah, I was scared I was going to miss my opportunity again.
A couple of things off that, obviously. So you knew before you had the test that you had the virus. It was that bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, some people don't even feel anything. Yeah. So, but I've never felt anything like this before. I was hurting so bad, and just within going to bed and waking up, you know, I had my son right next to me, and the night before playing with him, I started coughing a little bit, so I put my mask on just in case. And he slept right next to me. I woke up, couldn't move. I told them to go ahead and go out. I'm gonna start quarantining until I get tested because I feel crap. And yeah, that's that.
So, week and a half before Q-School, you fly over, you literally still couldn't practice properly, couldn't stand because you were still out of breath and in pain. That's some achievement to even get here.
Yeah, it was just, I mean, the max was maybe 5 to 7 games that I could play without really putting all my effort into it, and then just being tired. And even my legs were starting to hurt when I was standing on them for so long, and I'd have to sit down or whatever the case may be. So yeah, I never got to 100%, and I still feel like I'm not at 100%. Still about the 90-95 range.
Feeling that way when you were practicing, the thought ever crossed your mind that you weren't going to come?
No, because darts is 70% mental. Sometimes you have to will yourself through it, and I'll never use it as an excuse. I still felt like I can get my card. I still felt like I could compete. And as long as I was throwing, 85 to 95, I felt like I was okay. I got some advice from Matthew Edgar, and he kind of told me how tiring it would be if I just came to Q-School and play and then practice and play and practice. And so he said I kind of had to space out my practice and stuff like that, and in between games, maybe not practice so much. So that kind of helped, and yeah, that's about it.
You came over early, as we saw from your social media. One, obviously, to have your testing and everything like that, and get over the jet lag. Do you think that helped you as well, coming over early and settling in to the environment?
So it's funny, every time I come, this is my 4th time over, and I've still never adjusted. I've never adjusted. I'll go to sleep 9, 10 o'clock sometimes, and then wake up at 2 and stay up till 5. Or I'll just stay up till 4 or 5 and then go to sleep. But I'm only getting 5 to 6 hours sleep, and I don't know what it is. But yeah, hopefully one day I can get adjusted.
Staying here now as well, because now you've got your tour card. There's some big opportunities, the Super Series and the UK Open. So there wouldn't have been time for you to go home, settling in to life in the UK. Looking forward to your first taste on the Pro Tour?
Yeah, I'm excited. I already got the taste of playing the players, whether it be the World Championships or even Q-School. It's their floor events too, even though I feel like I've been performing better on the stage. But I'm excited. I can't wait. And as long as I can, put the practice in and do what I've been doing, especially that last day, I'll continue to shock people and try to win a title at some point.
Do you look at people like Glenn Durrant as well, that come through Q-School, big reputation, and what he did in his first 2 years was remarkable? Is he like the benchmark for people like you that have just got your card?
Yeah, it's Glenn and Damon as well. His first year he's only been on for 1 year, and he's done phenomenal. So yeah, they are. We look to see that it can be done, and by them doing it, it shows that anyone that comes in for the first time can do it as well.
Looking ahead, once this is done, how do you do a professional dart player and a family man? Because obviously Jeff Smith's done it, and he says it's tough and it's a little bit different in Canada with the quarantine situation. I understand that, but is this now the biggest challenge? Is trying to do both, trying to be your dad, family man, and be a pro?
If I felt like I couldn't do both, or felt like I could put all of my time or most of my time into the PDC, I would never have went to Q-School. So those conversations were negotiated and talked about and arranged with the kids and stuff like that beforehand. And I said, if I get my card, I'll be over here 7-8 months out the year, even if it's just me practicing for 3-4 weeks, 6 weeks at a time, whatever the case may be. I don't know the PDC schedule, but technology is great. FaceTiming my son and stuff like that is phenomenal. And my daughter and Lindsay back home, it's great. So I'm prepared. It's not a big challenge.
How old are your children? Just out of interest.
Yeah, well, we have 4 children altogether.
Yeah.
So we're going with 17, 14, 10, and 2.
So 3 of them get technology quite well, which is obviously a good thing. And obviously I've been fortunate to spend a lot of time in the States, that you guys over there are very technologically minded compared to others where FaceTiming, Skype or whatever is second nature almost at times.
Yeah, it's funny that those 3 would be more familiar with the technology, but the longest conversation I've had was with my 2-year-old. They put the phone on the floor, and he grabbed his blocks and kind of sat in front of the phone, and we were just going back and forth for probably a good 10-15 minutes. And so yeah, it's great, man. I make sure that I make it work.
With the calendar not being out yet, I'm guessing as soon as the UK Open's done, back on a plane to spend some time at home, is it? Is that the plan, or are you going to stay in the UK for a bit longer?
Yeah, because there's one more series right after the UK.
Sorry, yeah, I mean after that block's done, is it home?
It's going to kind of be a waiting game because depending on what Germany does with theirs on April 25th to 28th, I think, where they're going to have it, where they're going to reschedule, or quarantine rules and stuff like, we're in such a bad time. I have to make sure that I can go. I want to spend at least 2 weeks back at home. Yeah. If I can't spend 2 weeks back at home and I have to go back a week and then come back immediately back, just shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? So we'll just play it by ear.
It's a really good attitude to have, because obviously Kyle Anderson has just given up his tour card. Same situation as yourself, but he just couldn't do that juggernaut, and family was everything to him. Obviously his wife is now expecting again. Have you picked their brains, like Jeff's brains as well, on the whole situation?
Not really. A couple conversations with Jeff and Devin, but with the whole situation going back and forth, I haven't really picked anyone's brains about it, because to me it's basically either you stay and commit yourself, or you don't commit yourself and you go back and see your kids and go back and forth and so forth. So everyone just does it differently. They have their own preference, and for me it's I want to be here to play, to practice, and to become one of the top players.
And this week was a real breakthrough moment for darts in North America. Obviously you were the crown that got your tour card, but we saw Matt Campbell, Dan Lauby, Leonard Gates, Gary Mawson all coming across and trying their hand at Q-School. Huge numbers now from North America trying to do it. Does that show how far the CDC has come and how far can it go? Obviously, I know we spoke about this briefly when we were setting up. What will this do for darts in North America, you now having a tour card?
I've gotten so many messages from capable players that saying, "Man, you've inspired me. You've done this," and it's so grateful to do that because there's 20 players back at home that can come over and throw 85 plus, and they just have to want to do it or financially be able to do it and so forth. Lauby, man, he just got so unlucky. He could have easily had his tour card, but he had been the unluckiest person in both Q-Schools.
Yeah.
He played so well, even coming from the World Championships. We know what Matt can do. We know what Leonard can do. And then Gary, he's been on PDC, playing the PDC for a while as well. So, yeah, it's huge for the CDC what they're doing, and they're gonna get a few more people next year, I believe. I think we'll have maybe 10 representatives come over, whether it's Canada and the U.S., to try their Q-School, and I like the chances.
Looking to the rest of the year, I'm guessing one is on your mind. What's it going to be like putting that American shirt on in the World Cup of Darts?
Yeah, you just gave me chills. God, that was one thing too. I knew once I got my PDC tour card. It's funny because I was like, forget all the other tournaments. I know if I get my tour card, I'm on the World Cup team. So that was big for me, and I feel like whoever comes over, man, we can compete, and I'm excited. It's gonna unbelievable feeling.
Looking ahead, last one. What goals have you set yourself looking for this year?
This year alone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanna just win a few matches, compete with them, and I don't want to put too much pressure. I know there's going to be a lot of times I'm going to take a beating. Like I said, I'm a realist. I get it. But it's how I come back from it. It's how I, the very next match, I just come back stronger, and you just got to forget about what just happened and so forth. But I think I'm going to be fine. I think I'm going to be able to compete, and I think you're going to see a lot of me.
Looking forward to taking on Michael Van Gogh and Price, Gary Anderson, Peter Wright.
Yes, and you know what? If I never went to the World Championships prior, maybe I wouldn't be looking forward to it. Maybe I'd be a little more scared. But to understand that how they're just normal people outside of being on that stage and being able to talk to them may not be such a disadvantage for me. So I look forward to it. I want to compete with them and I want to play them.
Danny, absolute pleasure sitting down and talking to you here, mate. It's really fascinating to hear the story and how it's all going to play out. Thank you very much for joining us at Online Darts, mate.
Thanks, Phil.